1, 2, 3, funk it.
Hi guys, it's Arielle. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you guys are all doing well. So today is our second What Up Wednesday, where I talk about things that are happening in Paris, things that are happening in my life, just general things that I want to talk about. And today I want to give you guys an update on my Paris balcony garden. Ever since Paris reconfined and we're going a lot less to work and we're seeing our friends a lot less, I've really started to fill a lot of my time with gardening, and it has been just so awesome. I've always been really interested in gardening, but I've never lived somewhere where I A, had a balcony, and B, had sun for the majority part of the day. So here in my new apartment, where I do have a balcony and where I am south facing, I'm able to grow all sorts of things. I find that gardening is such a relaxing thing to do, and it just teaches you patience, because I feel like in a world where everything is just instant connection, instant message, instant everything, gardening is one thing where you can't have instant results. You know, you plant your seeds and you're just waiting and finally you see something and they're like, yes, they're gonna grow and I'm gonna see flowers, but really the process takes months. So I've been working on my balcony garden for about a month and a half now, and I don't know, I woke up this morning and everything was sprouting and green, and I was like, okay, I have to show this off. I'm so excited. Right now what I'm going is a bunch of herbs, some flowers, tomatoes, strawberries, and lavender. Now what was really important for me is, because I don't have a house with a backyard and a huge piece of land, I really am confined in my gardening space and also weight because it's on a balcony. So I've been really specific about what I am planting. I am purely planting things that I can eat. So I've got my herbs, I've got my strawberries, and I've got my tomatoes. And then in terms of flowers, I have my chamomile and my lavender. And I've chosen these two flowers because they're flowers that you can actually make tea out of. And so really everything in my balcony has a purpose. Everything will be able to sustain me in one way or another. So yeah, that was the thought process behind what I'm planting in my very small balcony garden. So let's get right in. The first thing I want to show you guys is my herbs. So I've got 3 herbs going for the moment. I've got basil, I've got thyme, and I've got coriander. I also want to add mint to my herb garden, but I just am having a hard time finding the organic mint seeds. They seem to be sold out everywhere. So once I find those seeds, I will add them to my herb garden. But so far, what I've got is baby basil. These guys I planted a week and a half ago. So they look like this. They're small. The leaves are quite wide, which is different from my thyme, which is crazy because it already kind of smells like thyme, which is weird. You wouldn't think that it would smell already, but this is the thyme. Let me just block my face. That's the thyme. These guys have been going for maybe 2 weeks. 2 weeks. In another week, when it's a little bit bigger, I'm going to transplant it into my herb pot, which is where my coriander is. Ta-da! So my coriander is insanely successful. I planted this, I want to say 2 weeks ago, and for the moment it looks like grass, but what's so cool, this happened yesterday, is actually the coriander leaves. I don't know if you can see. The coriander leaves have actually started to sprout. So yeah, those are my herbs for now. Eventually the goal, you can kind of see that in my pot I've divided it into 3 sections. So it's gonna be coriander, and then thyme, and then basil, and then mint once I get a hold of it in a separate pot. Next up, I thought I would show you my strawberries. So strawberries are a killer. I cannot explain that enough. Strawberries are so hard to grow. Unlike the rest of the seeds I planted, the strawberry seeds take so long to germinate. They're finicky, they don't all germinate, they don't all become plants. Like, the strawberries have been a nightmare situation. So I have 3 ways that I have planted my strawberries. The first way is I have taken my strawberries, I put them in soil, and I have them in the sun. That is this right here. As you can see, nothing has sprouted. That orange, by the way, that is my organic fertilizer. Anyways, nothing has sprouted. They have been in the soil for, I don't know, 2 weeks. I've read that it takes 3 weeks for them to sprout. I mean, I'm hoping that they'll sprout eventually. I'm not convinced those will sprout, so I have 2 other methods. The second method is right here. I've created sort of like a mini greenhouse with a plastic container that I leave in the sun, and you can see there's like water condensation on it. So inside, hopefully you can see, I have 1 cotton pad that I like soaked in water. I sprinkled my strawberry seeds on that cotton pad, and I put a second cotton pad on top, so that's in there. And I also tried this with paper towel. The problem with cotton pads is I've seen that they've been very successful, but once your seeds germinate, the strawberries tend to get caught in the cotton, and it's like really hard to clip the plant away from the cotton without breaking the small roots. So I've also put in a paper towel with the seeds with another paper towel on top, because the seeds generally won't go into the paper towel. It'll be easier to remove them, but I'm just not sure what's more effective in getting the seeds to germinate. I shouldn't have, but I opened my mini greenhouse yesterday to see if anything had happened, because they'd been in there for about a week, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, is something gonna work for me? And so I opened them, and I saw that there had been 4 little tiny seeds that had sprouted like maybe 2 millimeters long, but I could see a flash of green, so I was like, okay, this is working. Like, maybe another week and then I can put them in soil or something. So eventually I'll give you an update on those, but for now, what has been most effective is the greenhouse and not the soil. I have a third method that I'm also using for my strawberries, and that is to simulate winter. I read that it's important to keep your strawberry seeds in the fridge before you plant them, and I didn't do that for these 2. So I have some seeds in the fridge. I have some planted seeds in the fridge. So yeah, I've got my 2 sets. I've got my direct in heat sets, and then I've got my sets that are gonna be in the fridge for a month, and then I'll put those outside on the balcony after they've been in the fridge in the winter situation for a month, and we'll see if those strawberries turn out better than these ones. Like I said, I also have 2 types of flowers growing, which are not going to be just used for their beautiful floral scent and aesthetic, but also for my teas. So the first thing I've got going, I've got 2 beds of chamomile. I might have gone overboard with the chamomile seeds. As you can see, there's like hundreds. So I planted these guys, I would say about a week ago. They've already all sprouted, which is crazy. But yeah, these have been going for a week. Hopefully we'll see some flowers in the next coming weeks or months. And the idea there is to not just look at them, but yes, of course, use them for a nice relaxing chamomile tea. And the second flower that I have going, this one is a science experiment. I have my lavender. I have a couple sets of these in cotton and paper towel and all that kind of stuff, but the core of what I'm doing with my lavender is that I have them in containers and I have them in the fridge, and I'm gonna keep them there for a month, again like the strawberries, to simulate winter. I have read that it's nearly impossible to get lavender seeds to germinate unless they have been in a winter-like situation, just like they would in nature. You know, they're in the ground during the winter and then they defrost in spring. So that's what we're trying to simulate here. We're trying to simulate the winter defrost to spring. So these have been in the fridge for about 2 weeks. I'm gonna leave them for another 2 weeks, and then at the end of the 2 weeks, I'll plant them in their soil, and hopefully soon enough, we'll have some beautiful purple lavender. Next up, we have my cherry tomato plants.
Dream of you.
I definitely went overboard. I have 16 cherry tomato plants going. The thing is, I love cherry tomatoes and they can be so expensive. So I figured that cherry tomatoes with strawberries are two of the things that I love to eat in the summer. So it made the most sense to have the most of them. So for my tomatoes, I've got 2 yellow pots like this, each with 4 plants in them. And then I have one, I'll show a clip of it. I have one white jardinière, sorry, I don't know the name in English, but a white jardinière, which actually sits on the balcony, like it just sits in the middle of the balcony. Yeah, you'll see in the clip. So yeah, I've got one yellow pot of both my yellow cherry tomatoes, and then I have the second pot, which is the red cherry tomatoes. In the jardinière, I have a mix, I have 4 of each. I started germinating these seeds about 4.5 weeks ago. They've actually gotten really big. They're honestly a little droopy right now because the sun just came out, and I bring all of my plants inside in the evenings just because it gets a little bit too cold and I don't want them to freeze over. So the sun just came out and I just put these on my balcony. So they're still a little droopy, but by the end of the day, after they've been in the sun all day, they will perk up again. Yeah, so these ones are my red cherry tomatoes. Yeah, I don't know, there's not much to say except that I'm super proud of them. They've gotten really, really big. Like, it's crazy to see that they've grown so much in such little time. Like, compared to strawberries, which have been in their container for 2.5 weeks now, these guys at 5 weeks already this big is like crazy. So that is it for the outdoor portion of my balcony, but I also am trying to like amass a bunch of indoor plants as well. I only have one going for the moment, so I'll show you what that is. It's right up here. It's my English ivy. You know what? I thought this was such a cool pot to plant them in, but everyone is telling me that it's like creepy. It's a skull. When I was working at a bar, we used these skulls for like group drinks, like obviously pre-COVID when you could all drink out of the same drink. And we had so many of them that my boss was like, Arielle, would you use this? And I was like, yeah. So he gave it to me, and I've always wanted to put a plant in it, but people have always told me do not put plants in pots without drainage holes, and this does not have drainage holes. And you know what? That is just BS, my friends. You can plant in a pot with no drainage holes. In order to create a filtration system without drainage holes, you have to line the bottom of your pot, like I did here, with granite rocks. They're like small rocks, about 1 centimeter in diameter. So yeah, so to make this plant work, I have my layer of granite rock, and then I have my soil and my plant, obviously, and I water it slowly so I don't overload it with water, because when you do, then you sort of drown the plant. I've had this in here for about a month, so it's doing well. Now the reason why it looks like awkward, you're like, Arielle, what is this sprouting and where is this side? Like, why does it look so weird? It's because I have already made some clippings so that I can propagate it and have a bunch of plants without buying more. So these are my clippings. I just clipped the longest vines that the plant had produced, and yeah, I've got them sitting in some water. They've been here for about, I want to say 2 weeks. I don't see any roots yet, so I'm a little concerned. Normally I should see something by 3 weeks, so yeah, they're just chilling here for now, but hopefully we'll see some roots. And then once the roots have developed, I can replant them into other pots, and then I can just flood my apartment with vines. I don't know why, but I just love vines. I feel like they're just really fun looking. So yeah, that is the 411 on my Parisian balcony garden and some of my indoor plants. I hope you guys liked this video and maybe it gave you some inspiration for what you can plant on your Parisian balcony, or any balcony really. If you guys have any other plants or veggies or fruits that you think I should plant, leave them in the comments below. I really want to start planting spinach, so I'm gonna have to look a little bit into that if I have any more space on my balcony, but if I do, I think I'd like to do that. But yeah, if you have any other suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. I would love to hear it. This is my first summer gardening, so I'm still a newbie. So yeah, if you have any feedback, please let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I post new videos on Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, so it is poppin' on this channel. Anyways, that is all for me. I will see you guys in my next video. Dream of you, and I help if I dream of you.
you every night. Dream of you every night. Can I help it if I dream of you? If I dream of you, dream of